In at number 1, we have the Doxa Sub 200 Professional, and this comes in at £990. Doxa as a brand are packed full of history, and they're not spoken about enough in the watch industry. And one of the cool things about them is they do more flamboyant colors, and that's kind of how they've earned their name within the industry, including the classic orange, which is what we're talking about today. This watch is a diving watch and comes in at 42 millimeters. It, of course, is fully automatic and has a power reserve of 38 hours. Its height is around about the 13.8 millimeters, so it is a little bit more of a chunky monkey. But let's not lie, when you're looking at this price point, potentially it's your first or second watch. And if it's your first or second watch, you probably want a diving-esque watch, but you also want to stand out as a new watch collector. And this is where this watch kind of is the best of both worlds. It's bright, it's bold, but it has all the functionality of a diving watch. On this model, you do have the option of a bracelet or a rubber strap. Now, personally, I prefer the rubber strap, and it's 40 quid less expensive. That's where I would go, but then I do know a lot of people would prefer the bracelet. So that's just kind of like a personal preference thing. Also, just to reiterate, the orange version I'm showing you at the moment isn't the only color they have. They have tons of different colors that are all quite bright, including the aquamarine. Now, the aquamarine is bold, and let's not lie here, it looks Tiffany blue. And this caused a lot of, let's say, ripples in the industry when it first came out, because that's the model that everybody wanted because it had that color. And if you actually look at new releases nowadays, you can see a ton of that light blue Tiffany shade starting to come through, because kind of watches know that it's a hype color now, so they want to promote their brand through that color. Anyway, let's move on. At number 2, we have the Longines Conquest, coming in at £850. This model, of course, comes in stainless steel and has a stainless steel bracelet, and also the one that I would go for, although there is other options, has a black dial. Now, this watch actually comes in at 41 millimeters and is 11.8 millimeters thick. However, the reason that it is that little bit thinner, coming in at 11.8 millimeters in thickness, is because it has a quartz movement and not an automatic movement. It actually has the caliber L157, which is the quartz movement. And technically speaking, battery-powered movements are more accurate than automatic, so there's pros and cons to both. This model also has a date window function at the 3 o'clock mark and is just, in general, a very clean aesthetic of a watch. It honestly is. Now, the new Conquest models that they've released come in at about £2,000, and they are honestly unbelievable. They are super, super sexy. So if you're wanting to upgrade, I'd have a look at them. Next on the list, coming in at number 3, is the Hamilton Khaki Field Murph, coming in at 38 millimeters. Not its bigger brother, so to speak, but the most recent release that they released. This comes in at 865 quid, and of course pays homage to the bigger, older, let's call it bigger brother version of the Murph watch that came in at 42 millimeters. This is a lot more wearable for people and a lot more dressy for people. Now, the Murph watch as a watch, its aesthetic is very vintage, and I think they really hit the nail on the head when bringing the sizing of this watch down. It comes in at 11.1 millimeters in thickness, which is pretty damn thin, especially for a watch that has the caliber H10 movement, which has a whopping 80 hours of power. That is pretty impressive for a watch at this price point, and Hamilton tend to nail watches at this price point. The one thing, though, I do wish they kind of included from the previous version is the word Eureka, or the Morse code for Eureka, on the hand. That was in the previous version, but not on this version. And I wish they'd included that, but that's me getting into the detail. Let's move on. Before we go on to number 4, I realized when I was looking through my stats the other day, that 82% of people that watch these videos haven't subscribed to the channel. If you could do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button if you enjoy these videos and enjoy this kind of content and are a watch enthusiast like me, I'd really appreciate it. At number 4, we have a brilliant Casio. And come on, it's Casio. We had to include one. This is the GWM 5610-1. And this comes in at around about the £100 mark, depending on where you are, depending on where you get it from. And listen, guys, I know that it's a little bit on the cheaper end of this budget scale, but it's a Casio. You have to have one. This comes in at 43.2 millimeters in diameter and 12.7 millimeters in thickness. It is, of course, made of resin, and let's not lie, guys, it's just one of the most perfect rough and tumble, outdoorsy, everyday wearer type watches. It's the watch you wear when you don't want to wear your other watches in fear of damaging them, because I honestly, I'm astounded with how brilliant Casio is in terms of longevity. It's unbelievable. This watch, of course, being a Casio, is shock resistant, but it is actually also solar powered. So don't worry about going to get the battery replaced because, well, maybe if you're in Scotland you would, but normally you wouldn't. At number 5, we have a watch that comes in at £800, and it is a really nice dress watch for a first dress watch. It is the Tissot Gentleman Powermatic 80, and these come in a variety of different colors to choose between, and of course come in stainless steel. They have a lot of polished work going on, especially around the limited bezel, which makes it a little bit of a scratch magnet, but that's why I suggested that it was more of a dress watch. These come in at 40 millimeters in diameter and have a thickness of 11.5 millimeters, which is really, really nice sizing for this watch. Actually, this watch reminds me a lot of the Longines Conquest that we just talked about, apart from it has an automatic movement. The movement this watch has is the Powermatic 80 movement, and this is visible through the open case back, and also, as the name suggests, has 80 hours of power, which for this price point, again, that's good. Now, if you are struggling between the colors that are on offer, I would suggest going to see the Ice Blue. Honestly, I know that I'm buying into the hype of Tiffany Blue, but it's really nice. On that note, what are you wearing today? What is on your wrist? Let me know in the comments. It's time for the Chisholm Hunter tradition, which of course is the wrist check. On my wrist today is the king in the industry. I'm not even going to say what it is because you guys are going to kill me. At number 6, I've actually included a GMT model, and I've done this because it's a brilliant functionality to have, especially if you travel a lot, and I, in my lifestyle, do travel a lot. A GMT gives you the functionality to read multiple time zones at once, and this watch, the Seiko 5 Sports Black Grape GMT, has that functionality in a super sexy package. This model comes in at 42.5 millimeters in diameter and has a case thickness of 13.56 millimeters. So it is a little bit more of a chunky monkey on the wrist, but most Seiko models, or typically Seiko models, are that little bit more chunky. These models come with a 5-link bracelet, which is okay. I wouldn't give it the kind of great standard. I think that Tissot's bracelets are better than Seiko's, but you're paying more for the Tissot, I suppose. Now, they also come in different colors. You can get different colors. You've got an orange, you've got blue, or you've got the black grape, which is the black. The orange is a lot to palette. The blue, I'm not a fan of, and the black is the one that I think you should go for. But that, again, is personal preference. Please don't be influenced by some idiot behind the camera. Also, just so you know, that comes in at £420. So you're saving a good £500 of your 1K budget. At number 7, we have possibly one of my favorite watches of the bunch. And I think that Certina as a brand are super, super underrated. And this DS Action Diver coming in at 38 millimeters and coming in titanium with that kind of baby blue-esque strap and also baby blue splex. Splex? Is that even a word? Flex on the dial. Looks so sexy. And this comes in at £825. This watch, of course, is a diving model, and for a diving model going to 300 meters of water resistance, coming in at 38 millimeters in diameter, and also having a thickness of 12.2 millimeters, that's pretty damn good. Now, the dial on this watch is probably more muted black, it's more gray, and that matches the titanium color perfectly. The movement in this watch, of course, is also automatic. And you might actually remember this movement from the Tissot Gentleman that we were talking about previously. Certina is owned by Swatch Group, as is Tissot. So they share a lot of the same in-house movements from Swatch in general, because Swatch owns ETA. It's all a bit ancestral, but basically it has the ETA Powermatic 80 movement with 80 hours of power. Now, if you don't like the titanium version and you want a different color or you want a different metal, then you do have tons of different ones to choose between. And actually, these can all be viewed on our website at chisholmhunter.co.uk, where we are official stockists of most of the brands that we talk about on this channel. If you're going to buy or sell your watch, head to chisholmhunter.co.uk. At number 8, we have the Seiko Prospex Speed Timer 1969 recreation. Think of this as a really affordable Daytona, coming in at 590 quid. Now, the dial on this is white, and obviously it has blue sub-dials, combined with a brilliant black looking bezel. It comes in at 39 millimeters in diameter and 13.3 millimeters in thickness. It wears like an absolute dream. Now, yes, there is quality things there that are never going to be up to the Rolex Daytona standard, but for an affordable alternative, it's really good. At number 9, we have the Timex M79 automatic. And this, of course, comes in at 40 millimeters. And because of the blue and black bezel, people often call it, you guessed it, the Batman. Now, although this comes in at 40 millimeters in diameter, which is a good size, what isn't a good size is the thickness of it. It comes in at 14.5 millimeters in thickness, which is pretty damn thick. This model comes in at £259. But as of today, when we're filming this, and as I'm looking at it, they're actually on sale on their own website for like £180. Now, this is an automatic watch, but for this price, getting an automatic watch, that's great. But the movement will not be at the same quality as, let's say, the ETA movement that's in the Tissot, or the Sellita movement that's in a lot of other more mass-produced watches. Coming in at number 10 is a watch that I'm going to get killed for. I do talk about it far too much, but getting a Genta-inspired design for 640 quid, that's pretty good. This is the Tissot Powermatic 80, and this obviously has the Powermatic 80 movement and comes in at 40 millimeters. Now, the reason that you can tell that it's an automatic PRX instead of a quartz is because of that waffle honeycomb looking dial, which gives it a lot of depth and is quite nice. Now, you do have different variations to choose between. You have green, you have blue, you have ice blue, you have silvery white. I mean, you just have tons. Now, I actually got the green dialed PRX and I regret it. So if you are going to get the PRX, try and just have a look at the ice blue because that's sexy. You can actually see a theme going on in what watches I'm attracted to at the moment. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please hit that subscribe button or follow our podcast, the Into the Mind podcast, or our Instagram at Chisholm Hunter Watches, or my Instagram at HB Lifelens. And I'll see you guys real soon.